A weekend of surprises in Sky Bet League 2 with very consistently teams beating teams above them in the league table and making it all even tighter than it already was. But the biggest surprise and the winner of this week's Sky Bet surprise, that is the winning team at the biggest odds with Sky Bet over the weekend was Cheltenham Town, who started the day in 22nd, beating the league leaders Walsall by 1-0. We're far enough into the season and therefore the Sky Bet surprise feature, George, to know that the anatomy of a Sky Bet surprise win can vary from genuinely impressive and dominant and well-deserved win to complete carnage, smash and grab. Which one was this?
Complete carnage, smash and grab. I mean, Cheltenham Town under Steve Cotterill are a different beast. 4 games in charge, 3 wins, 1 draw. The 1 draw came at Gillingham where they conceded a goal right at the death to prevent them from a smash and grab 1-0 win. It's absolutely incredible what's going on there. And I'd love to sit here and be like, Cheltenham dominated their proceedings. They went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the league and came out the better team. But there's a beauty in the way that they won it because it was proper backs to the wall stuff. It was Day in goal for Cheltenham making a string of brilliant saves. It was Wilson showing at the back, getting rid of everything as effectively as they possibly could. It was Walsall hitting the woodwork when they finally got past Day. And then the goal itself, one of the most ridiculous own goals you're ever going to see. With the ball coming down the right-hand side, the cross coming into the box, Finnegan, who'd just come off the bench for Walsall, looking to boot the ball away, and Aidan Flint was standing outside of the goal, on the goal line, basically not even interfering with play, and the ball hits him on the torso, loops over the goalkeeper Roberts and nestles into the far corner. In the highlights posted by Cheltenham Town on YouTube, one of the comments there says, there's absolutely no way that goal goes in for us under another manager. And that kind of sums this up where, like, yeah, of course the belief is there. And of course the players are maybe stepping up a little bit. And the fans are behind Cheltenham in a way that maybe sees them get that extra 10% out of their performances. But there's also just the fact that for some reason, since Cotterill's come back to the club, the person who delivered them into the EFL in the first place, things are starting to go their way. And yeah, it was a crazy ricochet, but they defended for their lives and managed to stay in the game despite being really coming under pressure for massive moments within it, despite being probably the second best side throughout. But if you can keep, as I'm sure Cotter would have told his team, if you can keep the score down to 0-0, if we can keep us in it, you never know what might happen. And yeah, it was a big slice of luck that got them there. But the Cheltenham fans didn't care, the players didn't care, sparking absolutely jubilant scenes yet again at Cheltenham Town. The most surprising winner, according to the odds, but given the way things are going under Cotterill at Cheltenham, in no way a surprise, I'm sure, for some of their fans.
Yeah, and our league leaders, Walsall, well, they're still at the top because, as is often the case in League 2, once a team has had a good run and gets to the top, they're generally reeled back in. The same can be said for Swindon Town, who are second, who've only got 1 point in their last 3, same as Walsall. The manner of their dropping points in this game, very, very tough to swallow, having felt like they had the better of it, and certainly that was the case last week against 10-man Barrow as well. So things not going Walsall's way. Interesting timing, therefore, for the latest episode in the NTT20 How Do You Manage series, which will come out this week, probably on Wednesday afternoon. And it's me, and it's Walsall head coach Matt Sadler sitting in his office having a good old chinwag. Matt Sadler is a very, very interesting man, and that was a very, very interesting discussion. So I hope you're as excited to listen to it as I was to get the invitation. And I think, really interesting conversation out on the pod feed later this week. We had 23rd beating 16th Crawley 4, Bristol Rovers 0. You may recognise from previous weeks the words 4 and Bristol Rovers in the same sentence. That is the third league game in a row in which they've conceded 4 goals. I kind of want to just pour petrol on the fire here.
Wow.
Because it is astounding that Bristol Rovers in League 2, with Darryl Clark as their manager, with the players that they have, could be conceding 4 goals in 3 straight league games. It is embarrassing. That said, I'm not sure I can be having that Jack Sparks red card at 0-0, where a cross comes in and he's defending the back post, and as it goes over his head towards the Crawley attacker, Sparks raises his arm and handles the ball. There's no doubt it's a penalty. There's no doubt it's a handball. You see these types of handballs all the time. And the ref pulling out the red card really surprised me. And I can only assume that he has decided that in stopping the Crawley attacker from having his headed shot a goal, Sparks is denying a goal-scoring opportunity. And I suppose he is. But I also think that is the most robust interpretation of that law I think I've ever seen, because I've seen loads of defenders handle the ball just before someone's about to head it. And it's not, you never get a sending off for that.
Because we were talking about this before, whilst I get that there's probably nothing about the deliberate action coming into the decision as to whether to send them off, is there not like a reverse way of thinking about it where a penalty and a red card is only given in terms of a foul, if a player makes no attempt to play the ball, right? Is the flip of that with a handball, where if you are only attempting to play the ball with your hand, so if he is actually deliberately palming the ball away from him, like if it's an accidental handball,
I'm not sure even that is like as clear cut as you'd want it to be for a situation like this.
But if
his arm's in the air, and you might say, "What the hell's your arm doing in the air, mate?"
Yeah,
but like, why would he just jump up and punch the ball away?
Well, you got to ask him.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not sure it's as cut and dried as like, I need to push this ball away with my hand, otherwise Ryan Loft's going to have a header.
But I would say that, like watching it, I would think the referee might have come to the conclusion he's done it on purpose.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think would have come into his thought process.
Maybe. I was very surprised to see the red card brandish. Funny thing is, they didn't even score the pen. Ryan Loft, former Rovers striker, hitting the post. And then, I mean, it just gets more ridiculous. The Crawley goal to put them 1-up in first half injury time. Rovers just need to get in half time 0-0, reset, work things out. And it's just a freak of an own goal. A shot or cross maybe from Scott Malone hits Alfie Kilgore. It loops up in an improbable manner and drops perfectly in the far top corner, 1-0 to Crawley. So, I mean, yeah, I just can't bring myself to criticise Bristol Rovers for that part of it too much. The fact they then conceded 3 in the second half, didn't really lay a glove on Crawley and basically folded is obviously not a very good sign. But impressive from a Crawley point of view. Harry Forster getting a lot of love for his performance. Scored at the back post, the second goal. More comedy, poor defending saw Scott Malone score the third, and then Louis Flower scored the best of the lot, spanking in from the edge of the box. So is it great for Crawley after a really poor run? Yes. Will it lead to more performances and results like this? I have my suspicions. I think they benefited from quite a lot of fortune and the wobbliness of their opposition. For Rovers, obviously it is horrendous. Conceding 4 in a league game, 3 games in a row, 2 of them were at home as well, and to only score 1 in that time. It's not just the defensive side. It's the fact that they are not consistently laying a glove on their opposition either. It's very, very concerning, and they may make a managerial change. I don't know. They're 16th in the league. They've lost 4 in a row. Darryl Clark's something of a saviour. Everyone at the club knows that Darryl Clark is a good manager. He's proven that at this level with Bristol Rovers and other clubs. But at the moment, he isn't getting the tune out of the team that is expected. We'll see what happens. There is one bit of good news, and that is that Tom Lockyer started this game for Bristol Rovers in defence. That's his first appearance in English football since December 2023, a game in which he suffered cardiac arrest in the Premier League for Luton against Bournemouth. It is absolutely brilliant to see him back playing. Really nice that it's back at Bristol Rovers, where he spent a big chunk of his early career as well. And hopefully he can get settled and get in rhythm and add plenty to a Bristol Rovers back line that desperately needs it. George, this was a standout result for me. Newport absolutely needed a big display. They put one in at Harrogate. 3-0 win for Newport County.
A huge result for them. A huge result for Dave Hughes, their manager. They... When you look at their actual results in their last 4, normally I think we can overlook EFL Trophy results, EFL Cup results when it comes to kind of significance, EFL Trophy results. But they went to Cardiff, and this is Newport travelling to Cardiff, and this is Newport beating Cardiff. And it felt like that 1-0 win did have some significance, and they followed that up with a 1-0 away win against Accrington. And I think there was some positivity they were turning it around when they hosted Cheltenham Town. Now, they were one of these teams that has been put to the sword by Steve Cotterill's Cheltenham Town, proving that they're a very different outfit to face at the moment than they were prior to that. And that result and that 2-0 defeat at home, despite the back-to-back away wins, meant that alarm bells started ringing, and a lot of Newport County fans were getting very, very concerned as to what was coming. So for them to go away from home again against a team who are always going to be one of the teams anticipated to be involved in a relegation clash, just because of where they sit in the food chain, and to win the game 3-0 at Harrogate is huge for them. It's huge for them. It's vindication for Hughes. It's vindication for those of us who've said that despite obviously not being a great side, Newport have lost a lot of games, marginally, have missed penalties in games that they've lost at crucial moments. And here they were deserving winners. Baker Richardson finishing from close range for the first goal. Faulkner bundling the ball over the line after some good play by Kai Whitmore. And it was Whitmore again who turned provider for the third goal down the left-hand side this time to cross for Antwi, who finished well. Oxley, who was in goal for Harrogate, made one really smart save. Harrogate had a couple of opportunities, but Newport were by far the better team. And a shout out for Kai Whitmore, because he's a player, a box-to-box midfielder who was brought in from Haverfordwest last season, had an okay first campaign, looking very promising, but this season he's kind of stepping up now to be possibly Newport's most important player. He hit the woodwork with a strike against Cheltenham at 1-0, just before Cheltenham at the other end, and made it 2-0. He hit the woodwork again here, so he's kind of luckless in front of goal, but has already scored 2 very good goals. Provider 2, really, really active off the board as well. Just a proper box-to-box midfielder, and someone who's showcasing themselves really well at the moment, and a player that, for all the doom and gloom around Newport, could be a very important player for them. So a massive, massive win for Newport, and frankly, a result and a performance. A lot of kind of struggling League 2 teams would have been looking at the League 2 table and thinking, well, at least we can probably hope that Newport can take one of these 2 spots. But off the back of Saturday, the likes of Harrogate, Shrewsbury, Accrington, Crawley, Cheltenham even, will be thinking, yeah, maybe that's not the case.
Yeah, Whitmore, Newport's best player, I would say. And the fact is that he really struggled to have consistent fitness and stamina last season. A couple of injuries, probably no surprise when you signed from the Welsh Prem, Haverfordwest County, where he came from, which means that I think basically they're 2 best players this season, Whitmore and the defender Lee Jenkins. Both signed from the Welsh Prem, both signed from Haverfordwest County, which is a really nice bit of recruitment wrinklage for Newport County. I see that Jenkins has captained the side the last 2 games. That signing could not have gone any better, really. We had 11th beating 4th. That was Crewe Alex winning against Grimsby 3-2 in the Dave Artell derby. Really sweet one for Lee Bell. And an impressive performance in the face of a increasing criticism, increasing pressure. What a rollercoaster ride Crewe Alex's last few seasons, and this season in particular, have been 5 goals, but only 2 goal scorers. 2 for Jamie Walker, 3 for Emre Tezgel of Crewe on loan from Stoke. And you know what? I want to celebrate those 2. It's great to score 2. It's even better to score a hat-trick. But fantastic assists for all of them. They should be thanking their teammates. Walker should be thanking Amaluza for 2 fantastic assists for his 2 goals. And Tezgel should be thanking first Tommy O'Reilly, who set up his first 2 goals. There was some nice play by Lunt as well in the build-up for the second. And then Sanders, who curled a lovely cross right onto Tezgel's head. I mean, the header was brilliant to win the game. Fantastic winning goal. But Sanders with a nice assist there. So some really nice play outside of those who get the headlines here. Just a good game, entertaining watch. Will I ever have a steer on Lee Bell's Crewe? No. And I think I just have to accept that now. And I don't think there's any point in me really bothering. But in a league where there's 5 points separating 1st and 13th, I think I might have to accept that I don't really have much of a steer on any of it right now, George. And I love the feeling of it. It feels like jumping off a cliff and hoping there's a parachute. I
feel like you've always been most comfortable in League 2.
I love it.
Yeah.
I just have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Bromley beat MK 2-1.
You love the chaos.
13th beat 3rd by 2-1. That summed up the weekend pretty well.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
For the passing stats nerds like me, this was...
Yes. Passing stats.
Well, it's rare that you see this. It's normally like one team who keep it, the other team who don't want it. Here you've got a 90-minute game between 2 teams where MK Dons dominated possession with a 55% pass completion rate, 177 passes completed. Bromley, 116 passes completed at 48%. And they were behind from the 5th minute until the 73rd minute. It's absolutely unbelievable, and they won the game. Russian Hepburn Murphy with a goal that was made by Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. Hepburn Murphy winning the header, Mendez-Lang getting into the box, doing some quite funky stuff with his body to send the defender going, and then a really good ball into Hepburn Murphy, who finished from close range. And then Bromley did what Bromley do. 2 set pieces. The first one kind of half cleared before being sent back in and bundled over the line by Elawere. The second one more cleared, but then shifted out to the left-hand side. The cross comes in, and Omar Shomi with what he does, a towering header that loops over the keeper into the far corner. You just cannot concede set pieces in dangerous areas to Bromley because they will punish you with the talent they've got. And I can't imagine there'll be many games like this where Paul Warne will come away from a game feeling like they've been sucker punched by a couple of set pieces, but that's exactly what happened here. So yeah, fair play to Bromley after, they've had a funny old season so far, but 2 wins in their last 3. MK, who are starting to build up a head of steam, and I think had they won this game and converted their lead, they would have gone top, but instead pegged back and now still 2 points off top spot.
Lovely. Gills lost 2-1 to Salford at Priestfield. The only winners in the top 7 at the start of the weekend, Salford City. A very, very valuable weekend for them. And a big away win. The first goal, really nice midfield play. First from Osama Ashley. Under pressure, back to goal, in his defensive third, pressing midfielders on his back. And instead of just getting rid, and certainly instead of turning the ball over, Ashley managed to flick a really nice pass into Cisse. And he carried it, and he carried it, and he kept carrying it, and then he slotted in Daniel Udo to finish 1-on-1. The Gills defence had pressed high, and they were left lacking in numbers at the back. Really nice goal from Salford. There was then a penalty save, Bradley Dack's penalty save by Matty Young. Now, good time to mention Matty Young once again. This is a goalkeeper on loan from Sunderland at Salford City. He was there last season. He's their number 1 again. He turns 19 next month, so wow. He's 18 still. He is almost 2 years younger than the next youngest starting goalkeeper in the EFL, who is Tommy Simpkin, on loan at Orient from Stoke City. And this penalty save was really sharp, really smart. You have to remind yourself that you're watching an 18-year-old keeper who is the only 18-year-old keeper in the top 4 leagues in this country. And he looks really, really good. Underlying numbers suggest, over a pretty decent sample size now, he's a very, very good goalkeeper at this level. And that's really exciting because it's not as simple as you start your career on loan in League Two and you just keep working your way up and then you end up playing for England. But if you look at all the England goalkeepers, you will find that in general, they start playing in League Two or thereabouts when they're 18 and eventually they play for England when they're 24, 25. And I just hope that that's the same path that Matty Young is on because it's really, really good to watch. Cisse scored their second with another big carry. He's basically just one of those dribbly central midfielders that you've always absolutely loved. Feels like they had that last season in Tyrese Forner. He moved on to Northampton. They replaced him with Cisse. Nice carry through the middle, nice finish, 2-0. And Gills' goal, to be fair, from Josh Andrews was a fantastic touch and volley. But not enough. A big win for Salford. For Gills, just 1 point in their last 5 games. It feels like, hopefully, if Gareth Ainsworth is able to return soon, it feels like that's exactly what they need to stop the slide. George Notts, it was 8th v 9th. They beat Cambridge by 2-0. The Jataman at it.
Jataman at the double. This was a strange game of football where Notts County dominated possession in the first half. 288 passes to Cambridge's 66 and didn't have a single shot.
No.
Yeah, at home in the first half.
What?
And Cambridge only had 3, a really grim first half.
Good defensively, Cambridge.
Yes, but in the second half they were breached twice. It was again a game of kind of little action, not loads of chances, but Jata, who we know is a very good goal scorer for the level, scoring 2 goals. The first, a header at the back post, and the second, a beautiful curled effort into the bottom right-hand corner from just outside the area. Quite fun in front of the Notts County fans. For the first time, he ran over to the advertising hoardings, sat on the hoardings, had a couple of fans just come over and give him a cuddle.
Nice.
The second time, he enjoyed it so much, he called everyone over. He went and sat on the advertising hoardings. All the players surrounded him and they had some weird team photo with the fans. So good vibes at Notts County. And they continue just to kind of chuck along under the radar, basically. They're 5th. They were on 24 points, so 2 points off top spot. They play Cheltenham next, so something's got to give in terms of the 2 teams' decent runs. But Martin Patterson doing a very, very good job. And Notts County having reappointed Rich Montague, their former director of football, who had a brief stint at Swansea, was in charge of Swansea over their transfer window this summer. His return to the club, the guy that was obviously so central to their success in the National League. Be very interesting to see how they operate come January too. So good vibes coming from County at the moment.
Fleetwood beat Aki 2-1. One of the great game of two halves, this. Accrington led at Fleetwood at half-time and had won the shot count by 10-2. Alex Henderson with a near post flick from a corner. And the other day I talked about Fleetwood, and specifically we talked about wind and how wind can have a big impact on things. I think it was actually when you were away. I think we were talking about it with James Belshaw. And I think at Fleetwood, there are some grounds where I honestly think like wind is basically sometimes the major factor in the match. And all analysis should start and end with wind. Because you could see it on the highlights.
It's like whenever...
You can see it in the match stats. The second half was 13 shots to 4 Fleetwood.
It's like when in athletics, if someone runs a really fast 100-metre time, the first question is, wind?
Wind assisted.
Was it wind assisted?
Yeah.
Would you like there to be on, whichever scores app you might use?
Yeah.
A little arrow.
Oh, that'd be good.
For each half, just saying...
It'd be amazing.
Wind and amount.
And specifically which direction it was pointing in. Because it's very clear that whoever was defending that one end just couldn't get out, basically. Goal kicks were only going half the distance. And both teams struggled with it, and it led to a second half turnaround win. Go on.
Maybe even pre-match.
Yeah.
Could have expected wind.
Expected wind. Yeah, but I just get so annoyed with...
That's a much better
discussion for another day.
It's a much better name for that. Let's tell me where the wind's going to be blowing.
I think
it's just a weather forecast.
Should be better.
Wind forecast.
Discussion for another day.
Okay.
Ryan Graydon was kind of the big name in the second half. He had a number of bites at the cherry and finally ate it, having hit the post. He scored the equaliser, then assisted Ched Evans for the winner, and then Graydon had a penalty saved as well. A very impactful and eventful second half for Graydon. For Fleetwood, I mean, they are another team very, very difficult to predict. Unlike the last few seasons, you'll have probably noted their underlying numbers aren't actually very good this season. Fleetwood, they seem to oscillate between good and poor performances pretty regularly. They've won 10 points from losing positions this season, which is more than any other EFL side. 9 of them in their last 5 matches. So not great at 0-0, then kind of get jolted into life and get their act together. That's what happened here. They won against Aki by 2-1. 4 draws in League 2, 2 of them 2-2, Oldham 2, Shrewsbury 2. Oldham hit the woodwork twice at 0-0 before Scully scored a really nice goal from range for Shrewsbury. Nice finish from him. Tom Pett equalised for Oldham, but Tommy McDermott of Shrewsbury, who's a young loanee that I really like the look of, he put them ahead. Could they hold on? No, they couldn't. Joe Garner with a really nice header in injury time to equalise for Oldham, showing the rest of the Oldham strikers how to finish, basically, because, good God, it's hard to watch them miss chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. You get the idea. It's been like that all season. 2-2 there. 2-2 also at Barrow against Barnet. Barrow went ahead through Gordon and were doing really, really well until MJ Williams reacted to a Barnet player who sort of got involved in a little tangle, flicked his arm out, caught him in the face, red card, violent conduct, not ideal. Barnet equalised through Stead. Barnet go ahead through Adam Senior, who wears a number 5 on his back and nominally plays centre-back, but I swear is one of the great centre-forwards in the league. Whenever Senior gets inside the box, he looks like he's going to score. Did so, hit the bar as well. They were pushing for a third, and Stanway made an astounding save to keep it at 2-1. And then, inevitably, on the break, the ball fell for Newby. His strike double deflected for a 2-2 draw for Barrow. So a couple of things can be true here. I think at 0-0, Barrow were acquitting themselves really well. At 10v11, Barnet were all over them, and they're kind of fortunate to get the point in the end. But Wingy seems to have got, at the very least, a Barrow team that is working incredibly hard for him, and that means that teams are struggling to sort of tuck them away, and that's why they're on a good unbeaten run right now. And then Tranmere 1, Chesterfield 1, Connor Jennings doing it again with an injury time equaliser for Tranmere. Been really good the last few weeks. Omari Patrick had scored an own goal in the first half. Chesterfield had looked pretty dangerous, particularly the wide players Markanday and Berry going close regularly. Tranmere had a goal disallowed in what were very confusing circumstances. I can't tell you why it was disallowed, but I'm sure there was a good reason. And McGowan, who is a new signing for them, made a particularly eye-catching goal line save at 1-0 to keep them in it. So he deserves a lot of credit, as does Connor Jennings for getting Tranmere a point there. Finally, Swindon 0, Colchester United 0. Who could have seen this coming? Was a match that happened. Great weekend in Sky Bet League 2. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast this week. Hope you're enjoying it. We got a bonus interview pod. The How Do You Manage Matt Sadler interview will be on the feed this week, probably on Wednesday. Betting show on Thursday. I'll be back for that as well. We look forward to chatting you through it all. Cheers. Go well.